Hi, this is Aiden from Section 1. The artifact I choose is a French film named Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I study the guilt redemption cycle in it through the dramatistic perspective. Here is the table of contents. I will start with the introduction to dramatism and guilt redemption cycle. Then I will give you a brief overview of the film. Then I will analyze the actual guilt redemption cycle of the two protagonists in this film. At last, I will conclude for my research. So let's start with the dramatism. It is an interpretive communication study theory developed by Kenneth Burke. Its main function is to work as a tool for analyzing human relationship, and its key rule is that the world is a stage where all people present as actors and their actions parallel a drama. There are three important aspects in this theory: the pentat, identification, and the guilt redemption cycle. I will focus on the third one. So, Kenneth Burke described the guilt redemption cycle as the plot of all human drama, or the root of all rhetoric. It is the study of motives. He believes that the ultimate motivation of men is to purge guilt through public speaking. It starts with hierarchy. Hierarchy refers to the structure of society. We know that the power of the society is not evenly divided, which means that some have more power over others. And when people reject their roles in the hierarchy, they feel constant guilt. Guilt here refers to all kinds of negative or tense emotion like anxiety, embarrassment, sadness, and so on. Then, to eliminate this guilt, there are two options to human: mortification or victimage. Mortification means to apologize or blame ourselves when facing wrongdoings, and victimage means to blame others for the problem. There, a new order is formed, and people get redemption. They get power to move on. This is a complete cycle. However, as the plot of all dramas, it will never end. Life is just the endless repeat of this cycle, according to Burke. Now, let me give you a brief overview of the film. There are two protagonists in this film. Eloise is the daughter of a comtesse, and Marianne is a painter. The story happens on an island where Eloise lives. Eloise's sister suicided herself. Her sister was going to marry a noble from Milan, but now Eloise has to take her sister's position to marry the noble. Before the marriage, the noble needs to see the portrait of Eloise. Once he is satisfied with the portrait, he will marry Eloise. But Eloise does not want to get married at all, so she refused to pose for painters. That is when Marianne gets the commission from Eloise's mother, the comtesse. Marianne has to disguise as a hired companion and paint Eloise in secret. After a few days, she finishes the portraits, but she feels that she betrays Eloise's trust, so she decides to tell Eloise the truth and shows her the portraits. Then Eloise says it is bad because it does not show her nature, so Marianne destroys it. The comtesse asks Marianne to leave for that, but Eloise suddenly agrees to pose for Marianne for the portrait. So Marianne stays for another portrait, and the comtesse has to leave for other works. In this way, there are only three people on the islands: Eloise, Marianne, and a servant named Sophie. In the next few days, the relationship between Eloise and Marianne becomes closer and closer. However, time passes fast and the comtesse comes back home, so their relationship ends there. Marianne chooses to leave. Now, the starting point of the cycle is the hierarchy. I summarize it into only one word: patriarchy. Men are ruling and dominating the world. Women has very inferior position and trifling influence to society. I provide only one evidence due to the limitation of time, that is the marriage of Eloise. She is going to marry only because her sister suicides. He knows nothing about the man, and everyone around her, including her mother, knows that she does not want to get married, but nobody stands out and help her. because that is believed to be the destiny of women, appendage of men. Therefore, they feel guilt for their roles in society, and they need purification. I would say that they start with victimage. They have a quarrel before the Comtes comes back. They know that their relationship is going to end there. They try to blame each other. Marianne blames Eloise for not being brave enough to resist the marriage, and Eloise blames Marianne for not fully support her. Eventually, Marianne asks Eloise for forgiveness. So superficially, Eloise chooses victimage and Marianne chooses mortification. But is that really so? I would say that they both choose mortification mentally, because neither Eloise nor Marianne has the power to fight against the whole society. They can only blame themselves for being women with peculiar ideas. There are the two complete guilt redemptions. At last, they get the feeling of moving forward. Eloise accepts the marriage and has a child. Marianne stays single and becomes an art teacher. But that is not the end of the film. The film continues with two scenes where Marianne and Eloise meet each other again later on. We see tears in both of their eyes because the guilt is only temporarily reduced but has not disappeared. It will come back when it's time. As I mentioned, the guilt redemption cycle is endlessly repeated. To solve this problem, we need the reverse of the established order, which is implied by the director near the end of the film. Now I will conclude. As I mentioned, the cycle is to use to study motivations. I find out that they are trying to resist their roles in society, and that allows me to find out the underlying arguments and the possible solution of the film. We need to break down the inequality of the gender, and this needs the mental changes of everyone in society. And further researches can be on topics like the pentat, identification, and other important symbols in this film. As a successful and influential movie, the rhetoric strategies may worth us to study and follow. That is all I want to share. Thanks for your listening and watching.